Consider, for a moment, the sensory landscape of your fingertips. Day after day, they glide across a world of engineered perfection. The cool, frictionless glass of a smartphone screen, the smooth, predictable plastic of a keyboard, the sterile, impersonal metal of a doorknob. We live in a meticulously designed environment, a world sanitized and polished to minimize friction, to remove the grit, the mess, the unpredictable textures of life itself. We have built a kingdom of smooth surfaces. Yet, beneath this veneer of clean convenience, a quiet and ancient hunger persists. It's a silent craving in our nerve endings, a primal call from deep within our DNA for something more authentic, something textured, something real. This is where we find our next challenge. Our overstimulated, anxious minds are not just starved for mental silence, but for physical grounding. After learning to reset with sunlight and quiet the noise with our senses, we must now address the foundation upon which we stand. This story explores why the simple, almost forgotten act of touching the earth of gardening, a kind of feeling soil run through your fingers, is one of the most powerful and scientifically backed antidotes to the pervasive stress of the modern world. It is a return to a fundamental biological contract we have long neglected. What is truly happening on a microscopic and psychological level when we plunge our hands into the dirt? Why does such a primitive act feel so profoundly centering, so deeply calming? The answer is far more than mere romanticism or nostalgia. The act of touching soil is not just a symbolic gesture of returning to nature. It is an active, biochemical dialogue between our bodies and the planet. It is a conscious decision to log out of the abstract digital matrix we inhabit daily and plug our very being back into the living, breathing world where true healing begins. To understand the profound effect of soil on the human psyche, we must first look back not just years, but millennia. We must exhume the ancient covenant that exists between our species and the very ground beneath our feet. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors didn't just live on the land. They lived with it in a deep, symbiotic partnership. The soil was their pharmacy, their pantry, and a core part of their identity. Their hands were constantly in it, shaping clay, digging for roots, building shelters. This continuous interaction was not incidental. It was a defining feature of human evolution. Our immune systems, our nervous systems, and even the very chemistry of our brains were forged in this intimate daily dialogue with the earth. Modern life has severed this connection. We have, in a few short generations, become a species suffering from a profound nature deficit, and this deficit runs deeper than a simple lack of scenery. It is a microbial loss. Think of the well-documented science comparing children who grow up in relatively sterile indoor environments to those who are allowed to play freely in the dirt. The latter group, by being exposed to a rich diversity of soil-borne microbes, develops more robust and resilient immune systems, with lower rates of allergies and asthma. Now extrapolate that principle to our mental health. What if a resilient mind also requires regular exposure to the rich living matrix of the earth? What if our pervasive, low-grade anxiety is, in part, the psychic equivalent of an autoimmune disorder, a system overreacting to a sterile world, having forgotten what it feels like to be grounded in its natural environment? The most compelling evidence for this connection is not philosophical, but biological. The earth speaks to us in a language we are only just beginning to relearn, the language of chemistry. Within that rich, dark soil is a universe of microorganisms, and among them is a specific harmless bacterium called Mycobacterium vaccae. Scientists, in a series of remarkable studies, discovered that when this microbe comes into contact with our skin or is inhaled, it triggers a cascade of events in our brain. It stimulates a specific group of neurons to release serotonin. It's serotonin. This is a revelation of staggering importance. Serotonin is the brain's master regulator. It's the neurotransmitter that governs our mood, reduces anxiety, enhances our ability to learn, and promotes a general feeling of well-being. The fact that a simple soil bacterium can boost its production is profound. It means that the act of running your hands through the dirt is, quite literally, a form of natural antidepressant. You are sending a direct chemical signal to your brain, a message encoded over millions of years of coevolution that says, you are home, you are connected, you are safe. This is not a placebo effect. It is a direct biological mechanism, a molecular handshake between our ancient biology and the living world. This interaction may also stimulate the release of oxytocin, the love hormone, which further calms the nervous system and fosters feelings of connection and tranquility. We were never meant to live in sterile boxes, and our brains, when reconnected with the soil, remind us of this forgotten truth. Beyond the profound biochemical exchange, however, lies an equally powerful psychological one. The act of tending to the earth directly confronts one of the most insidious sources of modern anxiety, a feeling of powerlessness. We live in a world of abstract stressors, global crises we watch on screens, corporate structures we cannot change, and a digital torrent of information we cannot control. We feel like passengers in a vehicle that is careening out of control. Gardening, even on the smallest scale, offers a potent and immediate antidote: the restoration of agency. The simple act of pushing a single tiny seed into the soil is a declaration of faith in the future. The ritual of watering it is a practice in purposeful, gentle attention. And the moment that first sliver of green breaks through the surface is a moment of pure, unadulterated magic. It is tangible, undeniable proof that your care, your attention, and your actions have a direct and positive impact. It is a small, concrete victory in a world of abstract defeats. Each new leaf that unfurls is an irrefutable testament to your ability to foster life and growth. In this small, contained world of a single pot, you are not a passive observer. You are a creator, a nurturer, a force of positive change. This process rebuilds our sense of competence and personal power from the ground up. It teaches us about patience and the quiet, unhurried rhythms of nature, a stark contrast to the instant gratification and frantic pace of the digital world. It offers a clean, simple purpose that is profoundly satisfying. In a complex world that often feels meaningless, the clear and noble goal of keeping a small plant alive becomes a powerful anchor for the soul. It counters the feeling of helplessness with the tangible feedback of a thriving, living thing, reminding us that we are still capable of making a beautiful difference. To touch the soil, then, is not a quaint hobby or a nostalgic pastime. It is a deeply therapeutic act, a biologically and psychologically grounded intervention. It pushes back against the dematerialization of modern life by reconnecting our minds to our bodies and our bodies to the earth. It is a practice in mindfulness, a lesson in patience, and a source of undeniable self-worth. The earth's wisdom isn't found in dense philosophy books or complex spiritual practices. It is waiting for you in the dark, damp humus, in the rich, living soil. Sometimes, to find peace for the mind, all we need is the willingness to get our hands dirty.